Yes. Amen, brother. Amen. Test 1, 2. Y'all good? Test 1, 2. Check. Hey, everyone, we're going to do a little press conference right here, but y'all keep doing what you need to do. This is very important. We just wanted to let you know you're going to be filmed. So if you are part of the witness protection program, you'll want to leave the room right now. Morning, Alan Harris, Chief Administrator for the Office of Emergency Management. Preparing here as we hope our community is preparing for the upcoming with damage assessment, sites, how we're going to collect debris afterwards. Prepare them for the upcoming hurricane season. Shelter teams. As we approach the hurricane season, we want everybody out the aftermath. So we're really focusing aftermath of the hurricane. What to expect. Go around the community right now, you can see that there are everywhere. There's a shortage. We are no different. Longer to pick up. Have a lot of debris. And the storm that we're simulating today, it's a category 3 to 4 hurricane coming in at the Volusia Brevard. Category 3 to 4 hurricane as it approaches and comes over Seminole County. The last time we've experienced that really has not been in our lifetime. Hurricane Charlie was a category 1 when it passed us by. Hurricane Irma was only tropical storm force winds. Actually didn't have any reports of sustained hurricane force winds here in the county. With Hurricane Irma, we experienced 75% of the community being without power. So this is going to be something that we would experience here in the county as well. If a hurricane comes, experience long delays in receiving power. Cellular service may be out as well. Hurricane Michael taught us that as the Category 5 hurricane went through Panhandle, power and cellular phones can be out for quite a while. As we approach the hurricane season, we want people to own, not the little black line. And I know Weather Service has talked about that a lot, but cone, if we're in the cone, then we are going to be continuing outside the cone. You could get. Don't judge the current hurricane by the last hurricane. So hurricane is different. Every storm is different. Every storm wobbles a little bit. Sometimes it's in our benefit, like with Dorian, that moved away from the coast, and we didn't experience a Category 5 hurricane here in Seminole County. And sometimes it wobbles into exactly what happened during hurricane. While we are practicing for hurricanes here today, of course, our minds are also in Texas, and the same folks that are responding here for hurricanes, similar type actions would be taking place was a mass shooting. So family logistics and support for the families and mental health services. So the same type of thing that we're doing here, we're going through mental health services, change that, so the same type of training that we're doing here in Seminole County. Of course, and our prayers and thoughts are with the people in Texas. Most fatalities do not happen during storms. It actually happens post-storms. So again, on what to expect post-storm and how we can be safe post-storm. And with more information on that is our fire chief, Chief Kinley. He'd like to talk a little bit about some things we can do to be
Alan. Matt Kinley, Fire Chief, Seminole County Fire Department. With this kind of an exercise and any kind of real world event, as always, we're there to serve and ready to serve, and at a moment's notice. We prepare year-round for not only daily events, but these type of events. A lot of questions that we get asked are about our response and when would you stop responding? And we have some very specific policies in a wind type of event that at the 50 to 70 miles an hour of sustained winds, we will not be responding. Continue to call 911. There's a lot of things that our 911 operators can do over the phone to help you with your emergency, but know that we will respond as soon as we can. We'll also stop responding when we get wind gusts above 70 miles an hour. Those type of winds, our units just can't operate on the streets. At the height of the storm, have safety concerns. Again, would like to reiterate, continue to call 911. There's a lot of things that our 911 operators, who are our first responders, can help you with over the phone to mitigate whatever emergency that you may be having. Talking about post-storm, and Alan Harris is 100% correct that we get a lot of injuries and deaths post-storm. So during and post-storm, when you start to lose electricity and you have those home generators, keep them away from your home. They need to be at least 15 or 20 feet away from your house, away from any openings. There's carbon monoxide gas, which is odorless and colorless. You won't even know it's there. It can kill you. It has killed people. It happens routinely every year. Generators are dangerous. You need to know what you're doing. You need to keep them away from your home. You don't need to connect them directly into your home. Run your refrigerators off of long extension cords. Don't fill your generators while they're still hot with gasoline. That can cause a fire. Running them during a rain event, you can't get them wet. And that's when people want to bring them into their house. Do not do it. There are some things out there that you can do, you can buy that will help keep them from getting wet. But during the storm, don't even use them. You need batteries, you need flashlights, you need radios with batteries. Use those type of things to weather the storm until that rain event passes. Natural gas odors. That's another thing that we see routinely is people will bring in their propane grills, their charcoal grills. That can build up gases within your house. If you are smelling propane, natural gas, call 911. We can come out and figure out where that's coming from and mitigate the hazard. Very much post-storm, we get a lot of injuries with chainsaws. People are trying to go out and clear their yards, clear their roadways so that they can get out. That's not something that people are usually very proficient with the chainsaws. If you're going to be doing that, know how to use that chainsaw. If you don't know how to use it, wait for somebody to show up. Us, along with law enforcement, are always going around clearing out roadways so that we can get those, we can get into the communities and so people can get out. Traffic lights. There's more than 400 traffic lights within the county. Those are going to take a little time to get power to. So you're going to approach intersections, follow the traffic laws, but even better, do not go out. You see standing water, don't go through the standing water. You don't know what's underneath. There could be a hole that's underneath. We've had in the past where a truck has fell into a sinkhole in the middle of a roadway. So please, if you can, stay within your home, be safe, watch out for downed power lines, stay away from them. You don't know whether they have power or not. And for any other basic tips, you can go to prepareseminole.org to get more information, along with watching our social media sites. We will be putting stuff out for more tips in the upcoming weeks as we get into hurricane season. Thank you.
Tesla all these microphones. There we go. Go ahead.
So
Yes.
hotels,
Yes.
a lot of people,
Yes.
they may not do that.
So I appreciate you asking that. We are still in COVID season. Unfortunately, we are still seeing a surge of COVID. Again, not as dangerous as, thank God, the Delta variant was years ago, a year and a half ago now. But we still are seeing it. And certainly we don't want to compact emergency shelters. So what we're telling people is an emergency shelter really should be the shelter of last resort. If you can go to a friend or a family member or a neighbor or someone that goes to your church that lives in a concrete masonry block home that's similar to a school building, which is where the shelters are located, that's going to be optimal. That's going to be more comfortable for your family. It's more comfortable for you, more comfortable for children, things like that. Emergency shelters really are the last absolute resort. We do understand that people are not going to be able to travel. A lot of people have gotten electric vehicles now. So you have electric vehicles. Well, we're wrestling at the state and really emergency management across the nation about emergency power for electrical vehicles that are now trying to evacuate storms because the needs are going to be much, much greater now. So while we are starting to improve electrical vehicle charging stations, this is going to be a more and more of a concern as more and more people start to get that technology. So there's a lot of concerns related to that. So in the state of Florida, we've always said evacuate tens of miles instead of hundreds and hundreds of miles. That's always been our message, and that continues to be our message today, is try to find a friend or a family member with a concrete masonry block home. Don't try to evacuate to other states if you can. And if you are going to evacuate to other states and you have the well means to do that, then we would say do that early because we also don't want to clog the roads. Yes. Oh, yeah. We, in fact, today, part of our simulation was some of the shelters booked up, and then we had to emergency open additional shelters. So that was actually one of the injects that we had today. So one of the things is just public information in general. Instead of telling people that we have 1 million cubic yards of debris, we're going to start talking in the language that people understand. I don't understand 1 million cubic. It's very hard for me to picture 1 million cubic yards of debris. But if I say 11 spaceship Earths, now I know how big that thing is, and that's how much debris we have to pick up, and that's how much debris we picked up with all the cities in the county after Hurricane Irma. It takes months to pick up something like that. Once we started talking in that language, people understood. We want people to understand what the expectations are also for storms. So that's something we've learned over the previous storms, is that we need to tell people how long things are going to take. To expect power to be out for weeks in some cases. For cellular service, people expect, we're in an instant society. We expect to push a button and it's going to arrive, the package is going to arrive tomorrow. That's not the case during a disaster. So we need people to understand that it's going to take a while to get services back to where they were. And in some cases, services may be slightly different post-storm. And we've seen that across the country. We've seen that across the world, that sometimes things have to be adjusted slightly. And that will be the case for any hurricane.
No, we cannot. But we will get there as soon as we can after those winds die down. We do have high water vehicles where we can make access. But during the storm, if you've stayed and it's got to that level of winds, they're going to be on their own for a little while. Absolutely. If we're saying to evacuate, and they're going to get that from a lot of different areas, both knocking on doors, social media, reverse 911. If you're being told to leave, you need to leave. So, Seminole County is very much a community-driven neighborhood. We like to call ourselves your hometown fire department. Having those relationships with your neighbors, as Alan Harris said, as the first resort to evacuate into a block structure, which is going to be just like the shelters. If you can do that, that's going to be your best option.
Sure. So we have a sandbag plan here, of course, in the county. All of our cities participate in sandbags. Part of the exercise over the last couple days, we opened up sandbag locations at I think it was about 11 or 12 different locations. So that plan actually went through the process over the last couple days. As we opened the EOC today, we were closing down the sandbags because the hurricane was going to hit us. But that is part of our plans. If you need to sandbag around your house, now's the time to learn about that. So now's the time to learn about anything that you're going to need to do at the time of the storm. So if you need to sandbag, now's the time to learn about that. If you have bought that brand new chainsaw, now's the time to learn about it, not post-storm. We see a lot of injuries post-storm because people fire up their new power saw for the first time ever. Now's the time to do those types of things. Think about where our low-lying areas are. We'll know that right now, right? We just had a bad storm over the weekend. You know where your low-lying areas are around your house. So if you need to strengthen an entryway, things like that. All right, thank you all very much.